Thoughtful. In a world where temptations lurk behind every click, where easy gratification has become the norm and self-discipline a rarity, we have lost the most important thing: control over ourselves. Serious. Laziness, social media, fast food, video games, alcohol, gambling. All these are not just habits. They are shackles that keep us far from our true self. Hopeful. But more than 2,000 years ago, the ancient Greeks already knew the answers to these challenges. Their wisdom is not just a philosophy, it is a toolkit for action that will help you become free. Encouraging this video is your first step to freedom. 5 steps, 5 stages, and you will become the master of your life again. Determined? Let's start with the first one. Informative. Part 1. Know thyself. Socrates' wisdom as the basis for change. On the walls of the Delphic temple was carved, reverent, know thyself. Emphatic. This is not just a phrase, it is the key to freedom. Thoughtful Socrates believed that all our problems begin with not knowing ourselves. We think we want sweets, video games, or alcohol, but in reality we want to escape from pain, emptiness, boredom, or a sense of inferiority. Modern people rarely stop to ask themselves, pensive, why am I doing this? Instead of examining our actions, we simply follow our impulses. Serious. This is how addiction is formed, when you stop being a subject and become an object controlled by external stimuli. Socrates taught us to ask questions every day, every time you reach for the phone or the refrigerator. Ask yourself, what am I really feeling right now? What am I missing? Will this help me become who I want to be? These are simple questions, but they have great power. It's worth keeping a diary, not just to record what you did, but what you felt. For example, you procrastinate. Why? Perhaps because you are afraid of failure. Perhaps because it's not interesting and not your thing. Maybe you're just tired. Introspection gives you the opportunity to get out of automatic mode and regain control. Socrates also believed that knowledge is a virtue, and if you really know yourself, you will no longer be able to deceive yourself. A person who has realized that their actions are contrary to their goals will not be able to stay in the shackles of habits for long, unless they want to live a lie. So the first step to breaking free from bad habits is deep self-knowledge. Don't fight fast food until you understand why it is attractive to you. Don't close Instagram until you recognize what you're looking for there. Validation, love, or distraction. Practice. Every day, write down what I did, what I felt, what I wanted to avoid. Ask yourself a question before every impulse. Why do I want this? Once a week, have a dialogue with yourself like Socrates. Imagine that you are both a teacher and a student. Ask yourself 5 questions that will help you understand yourself better. This path is not easy, but it is worth it. Because only those who have recognized themselves can change themselves. And remember, self-discovery is not a destination, it's a journey, and you are already on it. Part 2, Enkrateia, the power of self-control based on the example of Socrates and the Stoics. The Greek word enkrateia means power over oneself. The ancient Greeks considered it the basis of a decent life. A person who is unable to control his or her desires becomes a slave. Not to society, not to the government, but to his or her own weaknesses. This is the root of laziness, overeating, and addiction to gadgets and entertainment. Stoics like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius were masters of self-control. They taught that if you want to be free, you have to control yourself. It's not the world that needs to be changed. It's not social media that needs to be deleted. It's your attitude towards it. Because the external is beyond our control, but the reaction to it is in our hands. Start small. For example, give up one desire every day for a week. A cup of coffee? Put it off for an hour. Want to check Instagram? Wait 10 minutes. This is willpower training. And every victory is a small blow to the inner tyrant, the habit. Stoics have a principle. Divide everything into controlled and uncontrolled. Food, temptation, and the internet are not your area of control, but you are not external factors. You are a choice. Imagine, you're hungry and you pass by a fast food place. Your body says eat it, but you have a choice. You can stop. make a pause. Think, is the short buzz worth your progress? Another important tool of Stoics is negative visualization. Imagine what addiction will lead to in 5 years. Fatigue, apathy, overweight, loneliness. Then imagine that you have resisted. How do you look like? How do you feel? Imagine and choose your future right now. Practice. Write down a list of your 5 biggest temptations. Consciously refuse at least one every day. Aristotle's wisdom is an invitation to harmony. Where there is a middle ground, there is no room for addictions. Part 4, Kate Con, the principle of action according to Zeno and the Stoics. Zeno of Kitheon, the founder of Stoicism, introduces the concept of katkon, what ought to be done. This does not mean I want to or it is pleasant, but something that will contribute to a virtuous life. In the fight against laziness, the key problem is inaction. We wait for inspiration, mood, the perfect moment. But the Stoics taught that action is always the right choice. If you don't know what to do what is right. A catechism is an internal compass. For example, you're tired, but you know you need to train, so train. If you don't want to write a course workout, sit down and start with 5 minutes. The laziness is gone, but the action remains. The ancient Greeks believed that the way to change is not in words, but in actions. You don't need to be motivated. You need to move. Practice. Every morning, write 1 to 3 catechisms of the day. What exactly you need to do to get closer to your goals. Establish a principle. First action, then feelings. Make a rule. If something takes less than 2 minutes, do it right away. A catechism is your steering wheel in a sea of chaos. Thanks to it, you act even when you don't want to, and it is action that sets you free. Part 5, Arete, the path to virtue as the highest goal of life. In Greek philosophy, arete is not just virtue, it is the maximum disclosure of human potential, becoming what you can be. All the previous principles are tools, but arete is the goal. A person without habits, who does not know what he or she lives for, will lose his or her way. Therefore, it is important not only to give up addictions, but to fill your life with meaning. Plato taught that the greatest happiness is in the soul's agreement with itself. When your behavior, thoughts, and goals are one. This is arete. A person who lives in harmony with himself does not need an external stimulus. He draws strength from within. Your struggle with laziness, with gadgets, with gambling addiction is not just a struggle against. It is a fight for your true, strong, free self. You are not just quitting an addiction, you are opening a new dimension of yourself. Practice. Make a list of your virtues. What is the best thing about you? Every day, do something that develops your arete. Sports, studying, helping, creativity. Have a motto. I live not for pleasure, but for strength. Arete is not perfection. It is a daily movement towards your true self. And this is the highest freedom. Conclusion, from slavery to freedom, from chaos to self. We often look for a magic button that will change our lives. But the truth is that this button is inside us. The ancient Greeks didn't have smartphones, TikTok, fast food, or online games. But they faced the same enemy as we do, themselves. And they knew that defeating yourself is harder than winning a battle, but it's also more valuable. You already have everything you need to free yourself. You have the power of Socrates to know yourself. You have the will of the Stoics to dominate the passions. You have the balance of Aristotle, the action of Zeno, and the greatness of Arete. You do not need to become someone else. You just need to take off your shackles. Don't be afraid to fall. Be afraid to stand still. Every day, take at least one step, small but conscious. Every day, choose the will, discipline, and virtue. This is the path to your true self. And remember, you are not fighting against fast food, social media, or alcohol. You are fighting for yourself, strong, deep, bright, and this fight is worth everything.